Ooh, yeah. Sitting in my closet. They don't know that I'm in here. Just to catch some Pokemon. I got a Pidgey and a Bellsprout.
Oh my god. I think I'm gonna need to go back to my old co-hosts.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, across all platforms. This is the Gaming Tangents Podcast. Woo! Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo-hoo! Oh my god.
Hey, you were making weird sounds right before we started, so...
Oh, it's my fault.
Yeah.
It's my fault. No, it's Michael Jackson. It's Michael Jackson.
Yeah, singing to Pokemon in your closet. Got it.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Gaming Tangents Podcast. We are the official podcast of the cross-platform.
Want to take that again?
I nailed it.
You nailed it.
I did it. We're done. All right.
All right. Great show, everybody. Thank you. Join us next week.
Thanks for coming out. We appreciate each and every one of you. This is the official podcast of the cross-platform gaming discussion podcast where we discuss gaming's past, present, and future. My name is Menji.
And I am Maverick.
What's the heezy, maneezy, fosheezy?
Well, sleazy.
Wow, you had to take it there, huh?
Yeah, I had to take it there because
I had to go that extra mile.
I'm terrible at this off the wall, sudden whatever puns. Let's move on to the next topic, huh?
I know good at word make.
I'm not good at word making.
Can do.
Not at all.
We like talk.
Well, let's see. What did I do this week? I went to a little thing called GenCon here in Indianapolis.
A little thing, okay.
Yeah, not quite little. Kind of big.
Oh, is that sarcasm?
Yeah.
My sarcasm detector speaking.
It's pretty big. I heard about it the last couple of years. It is a tabletop gaming convention, and I mean, it wasn't like one of those cons where you're like, oh, they have a little bit of this and a little bit of that. No, this was pure, like almost everything was tabletop stuff.
Nerd.
Yeah.
You're such a nerd.
It was really interesting, though. It was interesting to see what kind of stuff they had and everything.
Just running around, throwing lightning bolts and magic missiles everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nerd.
Running around with those little games, those strategy games, like Stratego, however you pronounce that.
Stratego.
Yeah. Not really my kind of thing, but it was really nice to see like what they had to offer. Really interesting, different kind of games I didn't even know existed. I think the one that captured my eye was Naruto Shippuden board game. I probably would have bought it if I actually had money for it. You know, it was kind of a last minute thing that I was treated to. So
Wow.
we got to walk around and see everything. And it's not a convention for me, but like I can see why a lot of people go to it. I mean, this thing has been around for years, and it was huge. It took up the entire convention center, and then I found out that it spilled over not only into the part of the hotel next door or across the street, but also to Lucas Oil Stadium where they have their football games for the Colts.
Wow.
Yeah.
So kind of a thing.
Excuse me?
So it's kind of a thing.
Yeah, just a little thing, you know? Nothing major. They did have some video games there, but it wasn't the main focal point. So, of course, you know, the games you did see were either like based on tabletop games or your standard like Call of Duty or Minecraft or things like that. It was
That's a weird mix.
Yeah, it was all condensed to one room. So
yeah, you guys, you stay in here.
Yeah, pretty much. But regardless of, you know, not being my thing, like we did enjoy ourselves. My girlfriend and I took my son, and he got to craft his own little plastics or foam sword, which was fun. and he got to look around and see what other kind of stuff was there, but his interest was more in like finding Minecraft stuff. So yeah,
Kids these days.
but I had wanted to go, and I don't regret it. It was really fun, and even just seeing what they had to offer, very well put together, very nice presentation, and I could see why they enjoy it, but then I don't get it. I remember I kept thinking the entire time I was there about a certain comic I used to read about this guy, from this guy who served in Iraq and did a little thing on board games versus video game RPGs.
Oh, what comic could that be?
I have no idea. I was a fan of it, but
Fan of this comic.
yes.
A comic with a the.
Mm-hmm. So,
And it had a fan, which was you.
Yes.
Not at all related to the title of the comic,
Not at all.
which people might still be able to find on the internet if they look hard enough.
Yeah, pretty much. I haven't bothered to check, but I'm pretty sure it's around, and even not, that's what the archive is for. Archive.org or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I
Still
saw Suicide Squad.
Ooh, my.
Yes, and that movie was freaking awesome. Not gonna lie, it was okay.
Now, you're just being pressured into saying that by all the DC fans, right?
Actually, no, I have Bugs Bunny holding a gun to my head right now. You can't see it.
See, I told you, man. It's just Ghostbusters all over again.
Oh no! I'm a hardcore DC fanboy. Haven't you heard? So, the hardcore DC fanboy.
You just hate Marvel. That's what it is.
I'm being paid off by Superman, and I'm also contractually obligated. I mean, I'm stating of my own opinion that I hate all Marvel Cinematic Universe movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fanboy.
Uh-huh.
Go back to your solitary Palace of Solitude or whatever
Yeah, okay.
thing and sit there and weep on your keyboard. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
System.
Yeah, no. No, it was actually okay. It was really good. And I'm gonna start out by saying that
No spoilers, please. I have not seen this yet.
oh, no spoilers. I'm just going to tell you
Good.
that these critics, I honestly think that they're riding on the failure of Batman versus Superman. I really do. Like, hey, Batman versus Superman failed, so we're just writing this because we expect this to fail too. Is the movie perfect? No, there are some flaws. I think that the thing that happens in the movie, the main thing that brings them all together, kind of just happens. It's kind of sudden. Outside of that, though, I thought the characters were fun. I thought the action was great. Some of the characters, you think them being villains, you wouldn't sympathize with them, but no. I mean, I really felt for some of these characters. And overall, just an excellent movie. I think people are trying to find these like little nitpick flaws on there. Like, yeah, not all the characters are great in there, but it was still fun to watch them, and it was fun to see some mindless action. Some of the characters they probably could have done without, but they have from what I understand, three of the more recent Suicide Squad members. Of course, Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and Captain Boomerang were all part of that.
Right.
So, yeah, overall fun movie. I highly recommend it. If you're really hardcore about story, which I am a story-driven person when it comes to movies, but like I'm willing to let it go if it has like good action and whatnot. I highly recommend it. I think you should go watch it. And the movie isn't that bad. If you really have to sit and think about what's going on there, things make sense. If you want kind of like a prerequisite, and you've seen it already, Attack on Arkham.
Assault?
Assault on Arkham. I always get that wrong. Always. And it's like my favorite.
Fanboy.
It's like one of my favorite movies, too. If you want a prerequisite, I suggest watching that because it kind of, it doesn't have all the characters that are in this live action movie, but it gives you an idea of what the Suicide Squad is about. Don't be fooled by the fact that it's Batman Assault on Arkham because Batman's hardly in that movie. That is a Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah, totally.
So I highly recommend it. I showed it to my girlfriend last week. She doesn't know too much about DC stuff. So her watching that helped her understand some of these characters in this movie better. I mean, they do give a backstory, but if you don't know all the characters or at least are familiar with some of them, you're going to be like, okay, what's this person doing here? I mean, they definitely focus on Deadshot and Harley Quinn. That's for sure. They focus on them the most as far as backstory goes. And the rest are a little shorter. I think the next person who probably got the most, which actually surprised me, I thought it was going to be Captain Boomerang. But you actually learn about El Diablo.
Oh, that's interesting.
And he became one of my favorite characters. Like, I didn't know much about him before that. I knew there was an El Diablo character in the DC universe, but the one I knew of was a hero in the Old West.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because if you watch Justice League Unlimited, like the what episode, part 1 of the Once a Future Thing, he's one of the characters who helps them out because they're in the past and whatnot. So that's the El Diablo I know. So I don't know if this is like a character with the same name or a different incarnation of the same character, because he doesn't have the fire ability or anything like that.
Oh, weird. I thought he did.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if this is a character that's reimagined or a separate character altogether.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but...
So compared to Assault on Arkham, where would you place it?
Between the two? I will say that I did like Assault on Arkham better than Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Only because excuse me. Now I'm gonna get the names mixed up.
Suka Squad God.
Assault on Arkham. I being an animated movie and everything, you kind of got an idea of who the characters were at the very beginning, very briefly, and whatnot. But you had that one character you were always rooting for.
Right.
This one, you have characters you're rooting for, Suicide Squad, but then there's like so many characters that you want to focus on, and that might kind of detract from some people, for some people, and so they may lose interest. I know it's kind of a weird thing to say.
No, I understand.
But just because animated, you can also get them through more, and it's like a little more true to the comics, from what I understand. Right. I know, like, Killer Croc replaces actually the shark.
King Shark. Yeah.
King Shark. I thought it was the shark, but yeah, how stupid! I just watched this last week. But yeah, I overall, like, and I'm not saying that. I like Suicide. See, getting the names mixed up.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah. I liked Assault on Arkham better, but that does not mean that this movie is not bad, because it is an excellent movie. I really enjoyed it. Don't listen to the critics, because I honestly feel like, from what I'm reading, they're really just riding the coattails on the failure of Batman versus Superman. It's kind of like they want to watch this train wreck happen. And actually, I just found out tonight that it had the biggest August opening ever.
Yeah, it's got some pretty good cash revenue coming in.
Yeah,
despite the critics' claims. So
exactly. So
it doesn't always have to be freaking on Golden Pond, to be a good movie.
I think
sometimes it can just be a fun movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it really comes down to word of mouth, and I'm sorry to bring this up again, but Ghostbusters, the movie did terribly, and this is after it came out, and it's word of mouth, This movie, I really do believe word of mouth is actually what's, helping it succeed.
Well, that and the fact that all the main characters are men, so that helps.
Oh, yeah, No, there are 3 women in there.
What?
Yeah.
That goes against all modern internet logic.
You got Harley Quinn, you got Katana, and you have Enchantress. They don't focus too much on Katana, which is...
Wow, because the last commercial I saw made it seem like she was a real pivotal part of the movie.
No. Not at all.
Thanks for spoiling that. All right, so anybody who thought that Katana was a pivotal part of the movie and had that spoiled for you, you can send your comments to Maverick at crossplatform.com.
Yeah.
Not a real email address.
Yeah, no. Margot Robbie did a really good job as Harley Quinn. A lot of people are complaining that it doesn't follow her story accurately, but then it's like, come on. First of all, this is the first live action portrayal of Harley Quinn. Okay? And they have to squeeze in as much backstory with a cast of, 6, 7 characters in the movie. They did as good as they can.
Let's just already assume this current DC cinematic universe is not like mainline, like Earth 1 DC. Like, let's just
not
assume that they're the same. They've already gone and screwed everything up with Batman versus Superman, so let's just assume everybody's backstories are going to be a little bit different than in the comics.
Right, exactly. And they, for what they had to work with, I actually think they got Harley Quinn pretty close. There was one particular aspect that I'm not going to mention here that did bother me personally, but outside of that, there wasn't really anything I found wrong with it, with what they had to work with. The Joker, Jared Leto, he does a good job. He's no Heath Ledger. I will say that. He is no Heath Ledger, and that's fine. He has to make it his own thing. He does a good job as a Joker. Not my favorite Joker, but not bad.
What do you think about the theory that he's actually a continuation of one of the 3 prior Jokers?
I think that was a little far-fetched.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the Joker, I got to watch some new DC stuff this week as well.
What'd you get to watch?
I got to watch The Killing Joke.
How'd you like that? I have
Animated.
not seen that. You almost spoiled it for me.
Huh?
You almost spoiled it for me.
Did I? When?
I was reading your conversation with a certain friend.
Oh, with our friend?
Yeah, I had to actually...
I tried to make sure that I didn't say anything too badly because I knew you were watching. What did I say here? Oh, there's that. There's that. Okay.
The funny thing is that I was driving while these messages were coming in. My girlfriend was looking at them and she starts reading them like, stop! Like, go to info. Turn off messages for 8 hours, please.
Oh, okay. No, we honestly didn't really... No, we didn't say much.
Yeah.
Nothing more than I'll say right now. Anyways. It was okay. I think this is one of those stories that, as a comic book, it works really well because you can kind of inflect and infer things on your own and kind of, go through the story at your own pace. As an animated portrayal, I think I would have actually really preferred it that they didn't try and stick to as close to the comic as possible.
Really?
And that I kind of actually wish that they did kind of take some liberties. It's just, they actually kind of did in the sense that they actually added some to the story at the beginning.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, so the story has its own kind of little pre-story. And you can really tell, like, it's really jarring when that ends and they jump into the actual Killing Joke storyline.
It doesn't flow seamlessly.
It doesn't flow. All that opening part does is give some unnecessary motivation for later.
Wow. Okay, yeah, like everyone keeps complaining about that that first 30 minutes there. Like, oh, go ahead.
Probably a lot of other people are saying the same thing where it's like, obviously they did it to kind of make it more feature length. But I think they could have maybe used that time more to kind of fluff out the actual story itself. But for some reason, I guess because this comic is so iconic that they just felt like they had to stay as true to the comic panel for panel as possible.
Right.
But I really honestly don't think that that was the right move to make for this particular story.
No, and they've succeeded in doing it before. Have you? I know that thanks to me, you've seen quite a few of these DC movies. Have you seen Batman, Superman, Apocalypse?
No.
That's essentially an adaptation of the Supergirl from Krypton. Basically a retelling of Supergirl's origin story. And it's actually the sequel to Public Enemies. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No.
No, okay. Well, it's.
I don't know if I've seen any of the Justice League ones yet.
Okay,
except for Flashpoint.
I've actually this is one of the few DC movies that I've actually read in comic book form before I saw the movie, and for the most part, it's pretty faithful to the comic, almost panel by panel, with the exception of the fact that there is the Justice League is supposed to be in the movie very briefly. Like a cameo at the end, but they don't appear at all. And then the final battle is actually a battle. In the comic, it was actually dialogue, and I don't want to say too much for anybody who hasn't seen or read it, but in the comic there's dialogue, and it wouldn't have worked in movie format.
Okay.
So instead, they made a pretty epic battle. That's probably the biggest thing they changed, and I think it made the story go on for just a little longer.
Yeah, that's what I've heard some criticism of Batman Year One for the same reason. Like, all the dialogue is lifted directly from the comic book.
Really?
And so that's why sometimes it sounds a little bit weird.
Right.
And I think the same could be said for this one, which is really sad because they brought back Kevin Conroy and they brought back Mark Hamill, which on the whole was great. And first off, let me say that while that was great, the fact that the rest of the cast didn't come back felt weird.
Oh, you're
so it's like so you have the Kevin Conroy Batman, you have the Mark Hamill Joker, but then Commissioner Gordon sounds different, and Harvey Bullock sounds different. And so it just kind of threw me off. Like, I wanted everybody's voice to be the same if they were going to go that far with it.
Well, I heard with Batgirl, they actually brought back Tara Strong, who
It is Tara Strong.
Yeah, she was a second voice for Batgirl from the animated series.
That's fine. She pretty much does all the female voices in this.
Seriously?
Yeah, she pretty much does all the female voices in that. So I think just because of the dialogue that they were working with, and I don't know if it's lifted straight from the comic, but just given the pacing of the show, I have a feeling they did. Some of it doesn't really work. Which is sad because Kevin Conroy's pretty much everybody's voice inside their head for Batman, I think, is Kevin Conroy.
Right.
When they read Batman saying something. And his delivery is a little dead.
That's too bad.
Yeah, it doesn't sound as good, and I think it's just because the dialogue that he's given. And the same thing with Mark Hamill, which is weird because I've heard Mark Hamill recite lines from The Killing Joke before, and they sounded really awesome. But for some reason on this, and maybe that's why my expectations were so high, they didn't sound as good.
Because I heard Mark Hamill was good, but I've heard mixed things on Kevin Conroy. I have some people saying he was good, I have some people saying he was not good, which was kind of sad because, for a lot of us, Kevin Conroy is the Batman.
Yeah, I'm more on the not good camp, and that's because I know how good he can be.
Right.
Not because I think he sucks.
Right, no.
And
he's right up there with all the other Batmans, in my opinion.
And he's already kind of a dick Batman in this. He's not the nicest Batman.
So I've heard.
Yeah, and so that also just doesn't work too well. Mark Hamill definitely has his moments. He's definitely better. You can tell he's older now. The voice isn't exactly the same as it used to sound.
Right.
It doesn't even sound as good as it did in the Arkham games. So, you can tell he's aged.
Well, he probably also had to, do something slightly different for this variation of the Joker.
True, because it's definitely not the same Joker.
Right. No, because I heard some of the voice acting on it, and it did sound different. But then I expect that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there was just a lot of composition stuff that I just kind of took issue with, and just some of the pacing is off. They could have fluffed out the main story rather than put in that beginning part, which like now kind of weirds everybody out.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I heard that they did it to add some controversy to an already controversial, story. I don't know, because I follow. Bruce Timm was one of the producers on this, or was he the director?
I don't remember.
Well, but I know he does good work. But then, like, I'm kind of surprised to hear that it's turned out the way it did, because look at all the other past DC animated movies that they made, and I mean, a lot of them kind of fell apart after he left.
Right.
Superman Unbound was a good movie, but it wasn't up to par with some of the other ones, and I felt the same thing with Justice League War. Justice League War was a terrible movie. Mm-hmm. I may go back and watch it again, may have second thoughts, but I remember watching it and not being too impressed by it. And then Son of Batman was, it was
I've fallen asleep twice through it already.
Yeah, it was okay, but those get better as they go along. But I'm also wondering if this actually use the same artwork as those? Does it set in that little small universe that they have for Batman?
It's meant to look like The Killing Joke.
I see.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just watched tonight. We watched Batman Superman Public Enemies again. And I that's one I haven't read, and I always wonder if that one's panel per panel or not.
So I would say, if you're not ever really planning on picking up the comic, it's still pretty good. It's definitely like a disturbing story,
right?
And it's got some really sad moments to it, but you probably prefer the comic. I think the comic would probably be a better read. I mean, it's definitely got to be iconic for a reason, more than just being controversial.
Right. I know the story. I more or less know what happens, but I've actually never read the comic.
It's been talked about so long. Yeah, it's like I already knew what happened at the end too. And I just now actually can see it now when somebody mentions the ending to it. I was like, oh, okay, that's what they're talking about.
Right. So
actually reminded me a lot of the ending to Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, really? I'll have to check that out, because like I said, it's been a while, and yeah, I would pick up the comic, but I can't right now. The graphic novels are kind of expensive. I wanted to pick up Civil War when it came out to see how the comic book version was compared to the movie, and
oh, geez, nothing like the movie.
Yeah, I knew that because I know that there's far more characters they took liberties with, but
just far more Marvel lore.
Right. So I know that that's different, but again, like, I like to compare these. After I watched Superman Doomsday, I picked up the actual death of Superman, and I didn't know it was 3 parts, so I'm kind of left with his death, and then I'm like, well, crap! I'm like, this big graphic novel here, and it only covers like the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Oh yeah. Oh, I still remember when those comics came out. That was right in the comics boom. Everybody was like, oh, I'm going to buy comics and be a millionaire.
Yeah. Right.
I fell right into that.
But yeah, well, I hope to watch Killing Joke soon. I've been waiting, waiting for payday so I may be able to pick that up. Sadly, I will not be able to go to Wizard World this year like I had planned.
Oh.
Yeah. Not happening this year as I had thought. Unfortunately, summer has not been kind to me. So
damn you, Summer!
Oh well, no.
Where does she live? Can we write her some nasty letters?
I take it back. Summer has been kind to me everywhere except the financial department. Yeah. So, I have to. I'm gonna have to wait till the next big con. And I know that Wizard World in Chicago is pretty damn big, so.
Oh well.
Yeah, but today was a little plus. Like I said, got to go to Gen Con, got to experience a different kind of convention. But like I'm the Comic Cons and Pop Cons so far. I do enjoy more.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, excellent.
So you told me
Marvel
you
fanboy weekend.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We had a Marvel fanboy week.
Oh yeah.
Living on the Marvel, hating the DC.
Definitely.
Batman vexes Superman.
Mm-hmm. We didn't even get to what you've been playing lately.
What you been playing?
Mm-hmm.
What you gonna play?
What you been playing?
What's
I got to ask the question this week.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You take control then.
Yeah, I get to ask the questions. What
you do that?
What did you play this week?
What did I play this week? I jumped back into Red Dead actually.
Really?
Yeah, with all these rumors of a Red Dead 3 coming out, possibly being announced, I was like, I should jump back in there. And then they also had released a bunch of the DLC for free over the last week.
Really?
And so that just kind of put it back in my mind, and I was like, I should jump back in there and keep playing.
This is on PC, right?
No. I have the PS3 version.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I might have to check this out because I picked that up a couple of months ago.
Oh, I thought you've had it for like a while.
Long story.
Okay.
Yeah, but
one you'll hopefully tell into the mic next time.
Yeah, next time. Now, let's see.
Other than that, I've just been catching squirtles.
Yeah, still in the Pokemon Go. Yeah, I haven't touched that app.
Drowning in Pidgeys.
I haven't touched that app. Well, let's see. About a week ago, I tried to use it in the GPS was down for some reason, or I don't know what was going on, but I was like, I give up.
I actually took my kids to the park near my house last night, and this was well in the evening. We went after dinner, and we went walking around this lagoon that's there, and there were we were running into other groups of friends, other groups of kids, and other families that were playing it as we were walking around. I was surprised.
Wow, yeah. I mean, it brings people out, so that's always good. Fortunately.
Although not as many people were walking as much as we were, but some people were just sitting there.
Well, those third-party devices that made things easier. Oh, wait, they all got canceled. Sorry.
Oh, don't get me started on that. Get me started on that.
Uh-oh.
These people, oh, no. We're going to go down this road? We're going to go down this road of people complaining about a free game that they've probably never plunked any money into and how they're so mad?
Yeah.
No, don't get me started. We talked about this last week, people. We talked about this. Don't go walking off cliffs. Don't go walking onto other people's property. Everything that they've changed about that game is to curb people aimlessly wandering.
Right.
Everything that's got taken out of the game, it's to stop that. And now all of a sudden people are blaming Niantic, like Niantic's the most horrible company in the world for giving them this free game that they didn't have 2 months ago.
Oh God, everybody
you guys had no tact when going outside. You just went outside, and if anybody told you otherwise, you got all mad on the internet, started writing all these mean memes about how people are being mean to you for playing your Pokemons. No, people were not doing the right thing, and they've screwed it up for everybody else.
Exactly.
Welcome to the real world where that happens all the time.
Yeah, it just gets me. I didn't look at it from that point. Again, I don't follow the game much like you do. I saw it more as, it's a third party application using it on this application. And it's like, okay, it's kind of cheating, isn't it? It's like, that's not what the game was made for.
There's that as well, which that's kind of like an underlying comment for me. It's like, oh, well, if you know that Pokemon's over there, why are you even bothering to play anymore? You're just trying to... That's more of that instant gratification thing kicking in, where people just want to hurry up and have all the Pokemons and just move on to the next thing. enjoying the game because I'm taking my freaking time with it.
Right, you enjoy it while you can. The way I look at it is the equivalent of, I still can't believe this is a business. People who pay loads of money to some guy in France or wherever the hell country they are in to level up their character on some MMO.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
You know? And
Yeah.
it's like,
I don't get it either.
why?
Yeah.
What's the point of having the game? You know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if those Poke Radars and stuff, I don't know if those were paid apps or not, but
I heard at least one of them was.
According to Niantic, those were also hogging resources as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were bringing down their servers.
Right.
So who knows if that's true or not? If that's just their reasoning.
Well, that would explain all the downtime that they
issues
had.
they were having. Yeah, and then not to mention the fact that what's that other game they do?
I don't know. You're the one who told me.
I know. No, it's completely
Dragon
slipped my
something
mind.
or another.
No, Inception, Insidious.
Something.
I'm just naming off
Something
movies
with an
right
eye.
now. Yeah, it's something. Whatever that eye game was that I for some reason knew right away last time. They're still playing that. They're still running that game at the exact same time. So now their servers are split between that game and Pokemon.
Right.
So they're already kind of bogged down as it is. But I mean, like I said, like literally all the features they got rid of the game are all the kind of features that were making people aimlessly wander. And now they've gotten rid of that so that you can't go, oh, I think there's a Pidgey in that guy's backyard.
Right.
Let me go see if I can go get it. Not a Pidgey, obviously nobody's going to go for a Pidgey in the backyard. But like, there's a Pikachu in that kid's tree house. Let me go sneak up there while they're asleep and try and get it. Because I like Pokemon, and if you tell me that I can't go in your yard, then you're just a big meanie head. No, like, the people that were doing all that stuff ruined it for the rest of us. And we just gotta live with it. Like, you can't be mad at Niantic. Like, there are cities that are suing them.
Seriously?
Because the Pokestop, yeah, because some of those Pokestops are drawing crowds to places where they don't want crowds hanging out and trampling their friggin' landscaping and stuff.
Wow, that's pretty sad.
So like they're trying to curb a lot of this. They're trying to appease everybody right now, which of course means you get to please nobody.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they're going around doing that kind of shit and then leaving trash, like you were saying last week, around, of course they're gonna have to do something to curb it. And it's like, just because you have the damn game and it tells you there's a Pikachu across someone's fence doesn't give you the right to go into that person's property and go get it. Like, you can't get it. Too bad.
Yeah, people were like doing it and being all. I've seen recordings, like interviews with people on the news and stuff. Like they're just all happy. Like some people recording themselves on YouTube, going around and just like proud of themselves that they're like, yeah, it's just I just had to wander over there real quick and go get a Pikachu or whatever.
Yeah,
that's not how you can do it. I'm sorry if that's like the monster that you need in order to complete your Pokedex, but no, man, you still gotta think about your neighbor.
Right.
That ain't right. That ain't right. I still play it.
Okay. And I'm not trying to diss anybody who hasn't gotten out, or anyone who. But I mean, if you haven't been out and you don't know common courtesy, you better learn it if you're gonna play this game. Sorry,
I'm start googling that kind of stuff.
Sorry, learn this etiquette because
I mentioned that last week. Yeah, if you're gonna go out, like learn what it means to be outside and amongst people again.
Exactly, it's not a diss. So anybody who's firing up their comments right now,
don't take it that way. It's
just common courtesy.
There's some people out there who don't know how to be outside.
I hate to
have forgotten what it's like to interact with people outside the internet.
I hate to say it, but we do come from a different generation, and we've kind of adapted to this one, but at the same time we still retain the etiquette we were taught when it came to going outside and meeting new people and respecting people's property. So I don't know,
get off my lawn.
So you just have to keep that in mind, and if not, look it up, Google it or something. Turn off Pokemon Go for 5 seconds and look it up, because really, it's I'm not trying to be funny, I'm serious.
No, it's true.
It's just you gotta learn some respect, just because you haven't been out, ever, or in forever, depending on who you are, because I know there's both. Again, not trying to make jokes. I know there's both. I forget the point what I was going to try to make, but my main point is...
Well, you certainly made it then.
Yeah.
That'll show them.
My main point is just respect other people's privacy, property, have some etiquette. Don't just run around and think that because, there's an actual world around you, you're still in your little bubble, because you're not.
No. Yeah.
So, I ran into a lot of people today. Sorry, I have to go this. I'm not even going to get into the game I played this week, because honestly, it's just more King of Fighters. But all right, today,
answers my question.
Going to GenCon. All right, I ran into a lot of people who were rude. Okay,
really?
I mean, just bumping into you, not excuse me. We're trying to stop, and people are walking around us, and they're getting in the way of the people we were stopping for, and whatnot. Some of that's to be expected. I had to hold my tongue. Girlfriend's a little more vocal about that, but it's like, just let it go. But there was one in particular that peeved me, and I could have said more, but I just said a sarcastic "you're welcome," because of course, you and I were raised a certain way, and we're trying to pass that on to our kids as far as etiquette goes. We're talking about etiquette again. All right, and my son was nice enough to hold the door open for this guy who had 3 boxes of games he was holding through the door. Walks through, bumps into my son, keeps walking, doesn't even say thank you.
Wow.
Doesn't even say thank you.
Wow. It's like you're supposed to hold the door for me.
My 9-year-old kid, being nice and holding this guy doesn't even say shit to him.
Dang.
You know what I have to say to you? You. Because when a 9-year-old has more respect for an adult, someone probably twice his age, you can't even say thank you to a 9-year-old kid. You really got some manners to learn, dude. You really do. Sorry, I had to get that out. When he walked off, I was like, "You're welcome."
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There was one on the way out, and there was a lady on the way out, and I held my tongue because I thought she had a whole entourage behind her, and it turned out it was just her in the end. And I was like, I'm not going to start an argument with her for something that happened 20 seconds ago. So, but I more so that first guy pissed me off. I find it sad that a 9-year-old had was more polite and more proper when it came to helping out than this asshole was.
You know what we've got?
Yes.
We've got an entire audience of people that did not realize you could be this fiery. They're seeing a new side of you, Mav.
It just, it set me off. And I've been pissed off about it all day because it just shocks me.
We've been on some adventures due to your fiery retaliations at times.
Yeah.
We've been on a couple adventures.
Yeah, we have, but
it's all right.
In this case, it's also me being pissed off for my boy because I'm trying to set a good example for him, and then here comes this asshole who totally ruins the whole thing. So it just got to me a little. It seems kind of minuscule, but our family etiquette goes a long way.
Right.
So
people are jerks.
Exactly. All right, I'm gonna get off that topic now. And what is the topic we are covering today?
Oh boy. Well, let me tell you. It's about holding doors. No. So something I wanted to bring up a little bit today. A little bit. I don't know what that means. Have you seen the recent footage for Sonic Mania? Anybody doing any playthroughs of the demo or anything like that?
What the hell is Sonic Mania?
Oh.
Just kidding.
Are you setting me up for... Oh, okay. Well, let me tell you, Maverick, Sonic Mania is a game developed by Sega and some guy named Chris.
What's Sega?
Oh, boy. Now who needs a new co-host?
Go on.
Go on. All right, so yes, I'm going to take that as a yes and keep going. So for our listeners who may not know, Sonic Mania is a new Sonic game. Now, hold up. I know what you're thinking, but don't think that. So this comes as the newest installment in a long line of games that are being made brand new, but with retro graphics. So Sonic Mania looks like a game you would have had on your Genesis.
Oh, I was hoping for a remake of Sonic 2006.
Right? It's a love story for the ages.
Yes.
So yeah, it's sprite for sprite, and I would say that it looks more like Sonic 2 than it does Sonic 3, because Sonic 3 had that weird pseudo 3D claymation kind of look to it. It definitely looks more like Sonic 2 Sonic.
Honestly, to me, it looks...
Only prettier.
Honestly, to me, it looks like Sonic 1 Sonic.
Well, okay. Maybe even Sonic CD.
Well, yeah, Sonic CD used the same sprite.
We'll go there.
Sonic CD used the same sprite as Sonic 1.
Yeah, okay, we'll go there. Sonic CD, although it looks nicer. One way I heard somebody describe it is basically what would it look like if they made a Sonic game on the Saturn.
Ah, nice.
And yeah, so that's about it. So it's the same sprites, a lot more frames of animation. It does reuse, and I'm gonna put that in quotes, reuse some classic levels from older Sonic games. So I know I've seen the Green Hill Zone, and so apparently they're gonna be putting in more zones in later. But they are changed a little bit. They're altered. There's some new items scattered throughout the level. Some of the different paths have been created and stuff. But aside from that, it more or less just looks like your old classic Sonic game, just with he's got a couple new moves. And even the music is all 16-bit.
To me, it sounds more like an extension of, like, it uses like that 16-bit sound, but then it also sounds like something that would come from Sonic CD itself.
Yeah, so, I could say that.
Like, I'm looking for music from the game, like from the 2 levels that they had demoed. I don't hear anything for the Green Hill Zone, even though I've seen gameplay of it, and you can tell that the music sounds different. But it sounds the same, but it sounds different. But then this new level, what is it called again? Something
I forget. TVopolis or
Speedopolis,
something like that.
Yeah,
it's some sort of a TV channel. Studiopolis. There we go. It's a TV studio.
The Studiopolis Zone. Studiopolis. I say Studiopolis. That music really sounds like something that would come out of a Sonic CD.
It's good. I like it.
Yeah, it's really good, and there are already people making remixes of it, and there's even one that had Will Smith singing The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. True story, folks.
Yeah, and so this game's kind of got a lot of people excited. Like, it's the first time in a while that people have been really excited for a new Sonic game. I think Sonic Generations definitely got some people's tempers back up, but still not quite to the levels that Sonic once had in his heyday.
Oh, yeah.
It was definitely a step in the right direction, but it still wasn't for everybody.
Well, I heard.
Whereas this game, everybody seems to be pretty down on it, or pretty up on it, pretty excited about it. They're down for it. So many different directions.
Right. No, I'm pretty excited about it. At first, I was like, well, why not use the graphics from Sonic 4? But then I remember that the Sonic 4 engine, or whatever engine they used on that game, he seemed a lot more floaty, I guess.
Yeah. I've heard he doesn't control as well.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel the same.
It doesn't feel right. And honestly, I still think they could use that if they had tweaked it or whatnot. But I'm honestly happy that they're using the Sonic 1 sprites. Simply because it looks like the Sonic 1 sprites, but at the same time, it looks like that they cleaned it up. Like they gave it more depth.
There's definitely, there's a lot more frames of animation. It definitely runs very smooth. There's no clipping or choppiness.
And his color palette is, a lot more brighter.
Yeah. Very vibrant. Very vibrant. Very vibrant. There we go.
Yeah.
I can say words.
And so I think that I'm really excited for it. I like that they're doing something completely original with this guy who worked on it. Apparently, he's the same guy who worked on the enhanced version of Sonic CD, which was really good. My only complaint about that game was that it didn't have the lyrics for the opening and ending song, which kind of sucked.
Sonic Boom.
No,
Sonic.
not that one. I'm talking about the Japanese soundtrack.
Oh, sorry.
As moronic as the lyrics were, and as moronic as it sounded, it still had what's the word I'm looking for? Not quality. It had some charm to it.
Okay.
I like the voice of the female vocalist in there. The guy who rapped on there. It's kind of like, it's one of those things of, why am I listening to this? But I still like it. Because I
say that about a lot of the old Japanese songs we listened to in the 90s.
Right, and it's not Japanese. It's not a Japanese guy singing. The female vocalist, she's clearly Japanese. Her accent comes through in her her singing voice. But this guy who's rapping the opening, he's not Japanese. But it's also not your normal kind of rap. It's kind of it's very almost childish, like you'd expect this on a kid's show. Old kids show. I'm not talking about like freaking One Piece or Dragon Ball where they tried to make the openings hip.
Right.
It's just it's just silly fun. You can tell that they're having fun with the song and they don't really care what people think.
I have to look for it.
And that's funny.
A lot of that old Sega music was really good from like the late Sega CD, early Sega Saturn era.
Oh yeah,
really weird music. They were really into their jazz back then.
Oh yeah, this clearly wasn't jazz. This was more techno.
Techno stuff.
Yeah, maybe not so much even the opening actually. So because the soundtrack for Sonic CD, the Japanese version, is techno music.
Right.
But Sega America, they wanted to do
Also
the whole
better.
jazzy soundtrack, and then they kept the past music the same. So
whatever.
But one thing I'm wondering is if they're going to, even with the old zones, something they started in Sonic 3 as far as music goes, is that the first act had one version of music, and then the second act had a variation of the same song.
That would be cool. Hopefully they do.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to.
Because they haven't even shown different acts of different levels. Like it's just one act of the Green Hill Zone and one act of Studiopolis, and then that's the whole demo.
Right, and I think if they're going to keep up with Sonic tradition in that sense, then I would like to see that return. Simply because I didn't like it at first when they did it in Sonic 3. It really bothered me because for me it ruined the consistency. But then the more I played it, I was like, this actually works because
it's progression.
Right, it's progression. It kind of gives a more dire feeling. The further you get in, like the second act, the first act's like, okay, we're gonna get to this. The second act's like, oh shit, we really got to get to this now. And so I kind of hope that they bring that back. They did bring it back for Sonic 4. But of course, not a lot of people play Sonic 4.
Yeah, it was not all that great. So here's my quandary for you then.
Mm-hmm.
So Sonic has been 3D now since the Dreamcast dropped way back in 1998, 99.
Right.
Ish. And he's, for the most part, never looked back, aside from Sonic 4, which, as we said, did not do very well. And so now, where are we? Almost 20 years later, he's gone back to 16-bit graphics. Recently, Mega Man also had success, releasing 2 games done in its original NES-style graphics.
Something I've always, like, I was like, cool, but I really like the I'm one of the only people in the world who like the 16-bit one.
I feel like there's been another game that recently has done this as well. But where are we now? Like, do you think that we're going to start seeing more games like coming out with like a classic throwback version of their games? Or do you think this is slowing us down as far as progression into the next thing? Like, because one thing I would have liked to have seen, like I said, I love this game. I really want to play it myself. And I love that it does look like the old Genesis days. But at the same time, the one thing that I've been vying for since the old Genesis days is for one day to play a game that looks like a cartoon. For some reason, nobody wants to make this game.
Yeah.
Like a Cuphead. Like, Cuphead is the only game I've ever seen so far that looks like you're playing a... Like, that's what I've been wanting.
Right. Well,
all this time. Nobody seems to want to ever make that game except for Cuphead.
I think it's going to depend on the success of both games. I personally don't think it's taking a step backward, because I'm actually quite the opposite as far as that goes.
So you want to see more of this?
To an extent, yeah. Just because it is nostalgia goggles, and I will admit that. I miss being able to play games that were kind of simple. I mean, not that I don't play the games that are kind of epic and long and AAA today, but I think what bothers me,
and by simple you don't mean they're easy, you mean that they're not complicated.
Right? They're not.
There's no convoluted storylines or anything to deal with.
It's just your basic storyline.
Get from the left to the right without dying.
Right, and I think part of that just has to do with, this is weird, almost segue, but not a segue.
Okay.
It takes us back to the days where game companies weren't as corrupt as they are today.
Alrighty.
You know, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago about listening to Guru Larry and his coverage of some of this stuff. You know, he did an expanded episode on the Driver 30 scandal, and he also mentioned some scandals that went on in the 80s. So this isn't anything new,
right?
But you know, it was also, you know, back then we didn't have the internet like we do now, so we didn't have information as easy as we do now. And so you hear all this shit now about how these companies just want to get this game out. Oh, we'll patch it when it comes, or this Tony Hawk thing. This really bothers me. You know, it really does, because it's like such bullshit. You know, it's like you really are over people who want to buy and play this game in the future. You know, and it's like I kind of like this thing that they're going back to just your basic, you know, run, get to the end kind of game. And apparently it's going to have more depth than that. But, you know, it's simple, start to finish, you know, each level, enjoy it, see your high score, how far you can get, beat the last boss, get the short but nifty ending, that kind of stuff, you know. And I really hope that this game isn't tainted by DLC, you know, and stuff like that. Oh, DLC, play as Knack the Weasel or Amy Rose, you know.
Right.
Like, well, I mean, that stuff is simple, but then it's like, oh, get this extra zone here, or get this extra zone here. You know,
new map pack.
Yeah. It's like I just want to see a game where you can. Okay, I was showing my son King of Fighters 11 the other day. quite possibly one of the last games that I've seen, and I'm not saying it's the last game, but one of these last games that I've seen recently myself, where there are hidden characters. Like, you have to earn hidden characters in the game.
Oh,
you know, and I showed him this, and I'm like, see all those empty spots there? Those are all hidden characters. You know, and he's kind of amazed because, like, what? We don't have to download them?
No, you gotta actually work to get them, son.
Exactly.
Get to it.
And we don't...
But, Dad... Nope, play your video games and you'll like it.
Right? And that's the thing. Nowadays, it's not like that. It's like, I mean, even SNK did this with King of Fighters 13. Now, I hated that... you know, you had to download Kyoyori and Mr. Karate, you know, but I did it because, you know, I wanted the characters. But then there's this thing where it says all characters unlocked. So it's like, okay, you get the 3 characters, but you also have Psyche unlocked already and Billy Kane unlocked.
Oh, yeah. Cheap.
Right. And it's like, really? Because you can actually earn Psyche and Billy Kane on your own.
Right.
You know, and you know, companies' excuses as well. Some people just don't want to do it. It goes in the same line as those people who play the games, you know, multiplayer games. It's like, I used to take joy in being able to find secrets in games, you know?
Yeah.
Remember when we played Fatal Fury 2 and how much we wanted to try to actually get to Rio at the end?
Special?
Yeah, Fatal Fury Special. And you know, you had to meet conditions in order to get to them. There's none of that anymore.
Right.
You know, and these are things that made the game enjoyable. You know, and now instead everything's, you know, hidden behind a price.
More or less, yeah. I think the closest thing that we have to that now is branching storylines.
Yeah.
Even that was something that had been around since the Super Nintendo era, at least.
Right.
If not earlier.
And there are probably still games out there that still do this. It's just that the market's so saturated with these games that have DLC, you know, no one bothers anymore. You know?
Right. Well, I mean, some people do, but no, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, some role-playing games, I think it was a Namco role-playing game or something like that, had a DLC thing where you can level up 10 levels.
Oh,
you know, I was like, what's the point of playing the damn game?
Yeah, I would never. No. No.
You know, and I complain about some of the modern day stuff they do in games sometimes, like the Super Mario thing that bothered me. You know, the Nintendo holding your hand and all that. I still think that's bullshit, but at least it's something they incorporated into the game. Any other company would have made you pay for that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's I don't know. I had a talk today with somebody also about DLC and how it's just kind of destroying things, so.
Well, yeah, because I mean, look at these stupid things that that I just mentioned. You know,
yeah.
Why? I mean, excuse me. That doesn't make the game enjoyable.
No, I mean, for some people, again, it's that instant gratification, and it's just some people just want the ability to be able to say that they finished the game. Not so much that they necessarily completed the game and played it through. They just want to be able to say that they got to the ending.
And that's still pointless. It's like, okay, watch a YouTube video.
Yeah, which may be why a lot of people do nowadays.
You know, it's like, I mean, I've refrained from watching YouTube videos on games that I actually plan on playing through, and I have watched some YouTube videos on games that I probably will never finish. I've to this day, you know, I complain about how much I hate Disc 4 of Final Fantasy VIII, but I still have plans to eventually beat it. You know,
good luck.
Yeah,
have fun with that.
Exactly, but you know, I tried watching the ending. It's like, no, I want to get here myself. You know,
there's a bit of pride that comes with that.
Right, exactly. So,
some bragging rights.
But yeah, but those are even gone now, you know. So now it's more of a case of just, you know, self-satisfaction, because I mean, yeah, I can go to a group of friends out here and say, hey, I just beat this and I found this hidden character, blah blah blah, and I was like, oh well, I downloaded all this. You know,
Well, good for you.
you know, it's ridiculous, and you know, I mean, again, video games aren't the most important things in the world, but as a hobby, it's a little
In the
sad.
in the realm of video games, this is important.
It's important, and I think it's sad, and I actually look forward to these games. Now, even these retro games, unfortunately, have fallen victim to it. I know you haven't played Mega Man 9 or 10, right?
No.
Okay. What is it that they had? You can add another level to there for like $1 or $2 on there. For Mega Man 9. You can add super hard mode on the game.
Good lord.
You know, Mega Man 10 had 3 additional levels that you could download, and they were based on the Mega Man killer bosses from the Game Boy games.
Wow.
You know, and it's like, really, they couldn't just add this to the game? No, they had to make it a DLC.
Of course, all games have to have DLC now. It's part of the marketing strategy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it's like, so even the retro games have fallen victim to that, and it's disappointing.
Right.
So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see this stuff on Sonic Mania.
But you're gonna get it.
Not
the DLC.
No, but I am gonna get the game, because I am interested in playing this.
Do you think that some of these going retro trends could be done to resurrect an old series that maybe we haven't seen in a long time, or that just hasn't done well in 3D? I'm looking at you, Castlevania.
I think there's a possibility. I don't know. Unfortunately, Castlevania, yeah, I don't think that's going to be a possibility. But do I think it'll resurrect some of these dead franchises? I would like to think so. The problem is that everyone nowadays are so into their 3D graphics, and
Mega Man 9 garnered a sequel.
It did, but you know, they probably reached an older fan base by doing that.
Wasn't that their idea with Sonic Mania as well, though?
Yeah, and hopefully it will sell well, and hopefully we'll see more of that. I mean, there are games that I would like to see brought back that will probably never be brought back. Power Blade was one of them. On Nintendo, they had 2 games, although I never played the second game. I played the first game, and I loved that game.
Mm.
I'm trying to think of what other games there were. There's so many games back in the day that both you and I used to play. Funny enough, I never played the Gradius series until the Super Nintendo.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But something I would like to see, because a lot of people are going through this 8-bit trend, and I honestly would like to see a 16-bit trend happen.
Wasn't that what Sonic Mania is?
Well, Sonic Mania is a kind of a special case, because it's also a case of it's another Sonic game. You know?
Right.
So I'm not really counting that per se. I'm talking about lesser known titles, or even like I said, 16-bit Mega Man. I'd like to see that come back. I know a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people shit on it because they say Mega Man 7 is the worst, but I actually think it's one of the best ones. But yeah, I'd like to see a 16-bit trend come back. Maybe Sonic Mania will start that. You know?
So what would you bring back first?
What would I bring back? Let's see. Trying to think of what I used to play, because I mean, some of these games have been updated. You know, there was an Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins. Why they went back to Ghosts and Goblins, I don't know.
Didn't that have polygons though?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I would like to see that, like in a 16-bit format. Again, and like kind of do what they're doing with Sonic Mania, give it that 16-bit look, but then add more frames of animation to it.
Yeah.
Battletoads. I would love to see Battletoads come back. And I like the Battle Maniacs, which aside from the arcade game, is the only game to give the characters their proper look instead of just looking like generic frogs.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that again. I'd like. Well, no, they did come out recently with a remake of Double Dragon.
Right.
But then that was
also polygons.
Huh?
That was also polygons, I believe.
Right. Well, no, it was. I think it was animation.
You sure? You're talking about the one that's like super 80s? Animation.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's polygons.
Don't know.
It's like Double Dragon Neon or.
Yeah. I'd like to see Streets of Rage come back, and I'd like to see it done in that format with the correct colors, please, Sega. Because I will say, like, there are a lot of games that were on Genesis that I preferred over Super Nintendo. I know Streets of Rage was only Sega, but that is one of those series that I preferred over Final Fight for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the right combination of everything. The characters were awesome, the fighting felt good, and the music was just amazing.
Well, yeah, and maybe I brought this up a couple podcasts ago. I'm not sure. There was that Streets of Rage remake that...
right, the one that got shit canned?
Yeah, the story behind that, from what I understand, is so shitty. Like, whoever... what's the word? Oh my god, I cannot think of the word again, but I'll just use your word right now. Whoever shit canned this project needs to be fired, because there's not been a Streets of Rage game in forever. And I've seen video of the Streets of Rage remake, and it was just such a good idea. Now, there were some things, of course, I found a little annoying because of inconsistencies as far as like artwork. But I mean, they had their own artwork to go with it, but it clearly wasn't Sega who worked on it. But apparently, they had Sega's blessing to make this game, and when it was complete, they said, "Nah, we're pulling it."
Yeah,
and so that's where I have the problem, because normally it's like, okay, well, you're making this game and you're making it without Sega's permission. Then yeah, as much as I would like to see this game, you kind of earned the wrong for doing that. But in this case, I heard they got Sega's blessing, and that's why I'm so pissed off about that game not coming out. And that one, they updated the graphics. They had put in features that were supposed to be in Streets of Rage 3, like riding the motorcycles and whatnot. They had branching paths. They had old levels, reimagined and whatnot. Pretty much freaking Sonic Mania, only with Streets of Rage. And they shut it down. They haven't thought, hey, why don't you guys work with us in making this game? No, they just shut it down.
Yeah.
So
I like this trend for the time being. I feel like it will get to a point where it's going to just start being a crutch.
Right.
And they're just going to start making them just for nostalgia's sake. Which, that I don't like. But I really do hope we get to a point where they will kind of make something that's like a tip of the hat back to the classic games, but made new. Like, I really want to see what it would look like if they had made a Sonic 2D platformer on, like the Dreamcast. Like, what would that have looked like?
Right.
And with brand new sprites, like, smoothed out sprites and like smooth animation. And, for God's sakes, make a new Guardian Heroes game already. Get on it.
Yeah, I remember you used to love that game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Used to.
Okay. I remember you loved that game on your Saturn, which may not work now.
Well, jury's still out on that one. I haven't checked.
I don't know, but any games you'd like to see?
I thought I just said it.
Guardian Heroes.
Guardian Heroes, and all just Guardian Heroes. I don't know, and again, because I'm right that I don't know how many times I really want them to kind of just be like, well, we're making it like the old one again, just like you always wanted, and that's never really been my thing. Like, I don't want them to just kind of keep making NES games until the end of time. Like, I want them to innovate, but I don't want them to lose the heart of the game that they're making.
Right.
That's a lot of the problems that I found happened in kind of that 32-bit era, like your PS1 era, when all the games jumped ship from 2D to 3D, is a lot of them just lost their heart. Like, I'll give you an extreme example. Like, even a game like Bubsy, where the first two Bubsies, very bad 16-bit platformers, like terrible games, but it's still, like, Bubsy had its own charm. Bubsy was still Bubsy.
Right.
And as soon as it went to 3D, they're just like, just throw Bubsy on there and just have him jump on shit.
Not very good either.
No, and they didn't even bother to even try. Like, that's an extreme example of what I'm talking about, but that's a lot of what it was. And
well, they also did it with Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim?
There was an Earthworm Jim 3D.
Yeah.
They were going on that trend of, it's the third game in the series, so 3D.
3D. No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, like, yeah, nothing did it well. Contra did not go well.
Oh Jesus, Contra
Into
was
the night.
Contra was awful. The Contra, what was it called? Legacy of War.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god,
No.
I don't even consider that a true Contra game.
Yeah. And Sonic had some hiccups before getting to Sonic Adventure, and then he just fell off anyways.
Right.
Because they completely changed him up.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a ton of them, and that was part of the problem. All those the 3D fighters, the early 3D fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Your Street Fighter EXs, your Fatal Fury, whatever it was called, 64, your Samurai Shodown 64, all those.
The first Street Fighter EX actually wasn't that bad, but then I
hated it.
I didn't care for the second or third one.
Yeah. Like, there's just, like, the heart of the game was, like, kind of just gone for all these games. And that's the thing. I don't want them to lose that.
Right.
Going forward. And again, like, I hope Cuphead does well. I'm definitely going to support it, because I kind of want to see more of that. That's where I was always hoping games were going to go. Not necessarily that they all look like cartoons from the 1930s.
Right.
But I just wanted them to look like cartoons finally.
Well, yeah, and I think
we're at the point where that's possible, but
nobody wants to
really
do it.
Doing it.
Well, and I really hope that this game succeeds, because I do think that that's a awesome concept. And if you think about it, in a sense, they're bringing video games to an age where cartoons began.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this will be the starting point for video games in that same sense.
So we got to go through all the different decades of cartoons. Okay.
Exactly. So, I was surprised that looks that looks the way it does. I was still kind of expecting, the little guy smiling and with the dot eyes, and then just kind of they stand there, but they're dancing.
Just have the out of the inkwell clown just kind of coming out.
Yeah.
Dancing with Betty Boop.
Yeah, exactly.
And Bimbo.
Exactly. Video games, of course, have their own. They have their own. Oh my god. Their own, beginning, the golden era, the golden age, or whatever you call it.
Yeah, totally.
They have their own that, but maybe this is the next step in gaming, because I think games nowadays, like I said, they become such big things. And you know what the worst part is? I used to want this stuff, and it was fine until it became just another I mean, video game, it's all about money in the end.
Well, yeah,
but I mean,
most things are.
But it became just about that. It's like all of a sudden the quality in gaming kind of dropped because it's like, oh well, we don't have this done. Let's patch it. Let's patch it. You know, we got to get it out on time. I got to get my bonus. Let's go ahead and patch it.
Right.
So, and that shit pisses me off. You know,
I hadn't gathered.
But it goes both ways too with these entitled gamers. They bitch about a game that's not done well, and then when it comes out and is rushed, they bitch because it's not or when they delay it. Excuse me, I already made the point that they bitch about it when it's not done well, but then when it's delayed, they bitch about it because they were not going to be able to play it sooner. No Man's Sky. You know, it's like, really, it's one or the other. You know, if a game keeps getting delayed now, if it's been delayed for 3 years, like Angel of Darkness, and it comes out like shit, you know, the Tomb Raider game.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Then I think people have every right to be pissed off because they waited so long for that game and it never came through, you know.
Right.
But you get a game and it comes in and it's a great game. Well, wasn't that worth the wait?
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So, I do think that the fans of certain games do have some kind of part in all that. But at the same time, there's corporate greed that goes into it too, unfortunately. So sure. I've seen it firsthand. So, sure. You know, and so it's just really bad when that happens. And right. Who gets to pay for it? The consumer. You know, and then all of a sudden they'll end up killing franchises that, you know, were big hits.
Right. Yeah, I think this may be a signal that, like, you know, games are kind of on shaky ground. Like, we're not sure if we want to just keep moving forward with, you know, the so-called AAA titles, like the big blockbuster games, or if we want to go back to, you know, a simpler time, your DuckTales, your Sonics, your Mega Mans. And so we seem to kind of be in this point where we kind of want both.
I think it has to be a little bit of both because, you know, a lot of people have grown up with these more epic games, and that's all they know. My son has a little bit of luxury because some of these games that have gone retro, like Super Mario Maker, you can see, you know, classic Mario, he has an appreciation for it. I've shown him some of these older Nintendo games to the Virtual Console, and he has an appreciation for it. King of Fighters 98, which he still has been playing. I think I've been going on about this for 2 months now. You know, he's still playing it. I've shown him King of Fighters 13. I showed him the demo for King of Fighters 14. He still goes back to King of Fighters 98.
Nice.
Those are really dated graphics. I mean, for the time, they were awesome graphics.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're really dated by today's standard. He still goes back to that because, again, it comes down to the gameplay.
Yeah. There's something there. There's a charm. There's a heart. There's a soul.
Exactly. And he likes it. He is, like, so indulged in, like, this is why, you know, we've always gone back to the whole thing about Street Fighter and SNK and how SNK, their characters have more depth. This is why. He's attracted to this character depth that these characters have. He likes that these characters have special intros signifying that they know each other. It's like, oh, it's kind of like a comic book. Oh, cool, these characters know each other, you know. You know, and he's like, oh, they used to be a team, you know, because you choose a team and they play certain music and whatnot. He's impressed by all that, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's cool.
It's what attracts him to it, and he likes seeing this, you know. And he's asked me to play the other games, you know. He's asked me to play King of Fighters 11. He's asked me to play King of Fighters 2002. You know, he's asked me to play King of Fighters 2003. He still goes back to King of Fighters 98 because he likes the depth in that. He likes the gameplay, you know. And a lot of kids these days aren't into that. They're into what looks nice and what is perceived as fun. as opposed to what's actually fun. And I'm not going to sit here and say that some of these games aren't fun. You know, I like Call of Duty, but I'm not its biggest fan. You know, but some people find it fun, and everybody, it's to each their own. You know,
right.
But
you're all wrong.
But you're all wrong. Exactly. No. But my point is, you gotta look at what satisfies you more, the graphics or the gameplay.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So what it really comes down to it, you know, the retro game or the modern game, it comes down to, does it play well? Because look at Sonic 4. Beautiful graphics, you know, really, you know, and really cool music, but the gameplay isn't there. The heart of the game isn't there.
Yeah.
You know, and they try to capitalize on like old levels that are, and make them appear new. You know, but at the end of the day,
didn't work.
It didn't work. They had some neat concepts, but someone around with the gameplay mechanic, and that's what ruined the game for it.
Yep. See, take it from us. We know. We know what we're talking about.
We're the
My kids
only
have just
ones
as
who
much
know.
fun.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right? We know what's best for all of you. My kids have just as much fun playing on a PS3 as they do playing on an NES. So I don't really think that it's just like graphics. If graphics are dated, nobody's gonna like it.
Right.
But there's something else there. There's a reason why I'm still collecting Super Famicom games.
There you go.
Because those games are fun. There's a reason you can go back and play Star Fox on the Super Nintendo, and it's super fun. And Star Fox
64,
whatever it's called right now.
Oh, the new one, Star Fox Zero.
Yeah, not doing so well. Not doing so well.
Yeah, I still need to play that to determine that.
And it seems like, again, something is lost there. And I think that just kind of the way we're going, I can kind of equate it to like the way cell phones are going. Like for the longest time, we thought phones were going to just keep on getting smaller and smaller and smaller, remember?
Yeah.
Like even Zoolander made the joke of the little itty bitty phone because it was like he was like the trendiest guy, so he had like the smallest phone. But now look where we are. Like phones are massive. Most people can't even fit them in their pockets anymore.
Nope.
Because eventually we got to a point where it's like, okay, well, we can't keep looking at these tiny little screens anymore. Like we kind of want to go the other way now, kind of back to a bigger phone that we can see what's going on, especially with everything that we do on them. And it seems like games are kind of the same way now. Like we've gone super expensive, super convoluted, expansive, 90-hour storyline. But now, we kind of just want to go back to like a game that's got like, 8 levels.
Right.
And something you can just kind of finish, over a few hours on a Saturday night or something.
Well, yeah, as you get older, I don't know. I've seen some YouTubers that like sometimes lose hope for humanity, but get to that in a second. You and I both work, and I can't say I don't envy you. You're able to slip in some editing time for our podcast.
At my job?
No, I mean just in general.
Oh, okay.
You're able to...
Because I would never do that. I totally do that.
You're able to slip in some time, but like, in all honesty, like, I didn't have time. I have so many things to juggle. I just barely had time to do this. What makes me think I'll have time to play an epic game? I want to go. I've gone on so many times of how I want to finish Parasite Eve. I still to this day can't do it because I have other things I have to take care of that I'm not going to get a lot done in 10 minutes. I went back and tried to show my son Kingdom Hearts 2 because he's been asking me to finish the game, and I could only play like an hour or two of gameplay because we had to get ready for GenCon today. I mean, not that we had to go and do that, but. It's like, but the point is that, I have to spend time with my family,
right.
And I can't devote all my times again, yeah, sure, I can play with him. You know, he's always like, "Hey, Dad, want to battle?" You know, I'm like, "Sure," and I'll play with him. And sad thing, he's getting really good, and he's actually legitimately beating me. By the way, anyway,
he's reached Menji levels.
yeah, But then, sorry, one little thing. Going back to the holding your hand thing.
Oh boy.
I did not know that the game had a preset button for an automatic combo, and it pisses me off when he uses it, because it's like, learn to make the combos yourself. He doesn't use it all the time, but when he gets to a point,
man, take that controller away and put a stick in front of him.
well,
what are you doing?
The funny thing is that I when he wasn't looking, I actually changed the settings so that the control didn't have that function on it.
Oh, now that's just sneaky.
And
you, sir, are a snake.
He caught on to it, and then he changed it back.
Oh, see?
Yeah. So I was just like, okay. But anyway, that's besides the point. The whole thing is that, you know, yeah,
you all are young and dumb, and we're the smartest.
No, it's not even that. It's as you get older, you know, sometimes you don't have time for this stuff.
Oh, and that as well, also. Yes.
You know, and that's the thing. I mean, I would love to devote more time to, you know, I wanted to play a little bit tonight. I wanted to play a little bit of the King of Fighters 14 demo that I had, but then I was getting ready for the podcast tonight.
Oh, yeah. Sorry to get in your way, sir.
Yeah, you cut into my gaming time, you ass.
Jesus. Well, on that note, this has been the last episode of Gaming Tangents.
Yeah, I will retire and go play video games.
Yeah, so I'm definitely interested to see. They also had announced another Sonic
Project
property.
Sonic.
What?
Project Sonic is what it's called.
Is that
far.
what it was?
I think
yeah, so we'll see what that is. I have a feeling that's going to be a 3D game.
Well, you didn't see the preview for it?
Oh no, there's a preview?
Yeah, it is a 3D game, and it looks as though they might be making a Sonic Generations 2 because it has classic Sonic in it.
Ah, okay.
But it looks a lot darker, you know, as far as possible potential storyline goes.
As long as it doesn't look like Sonic Boom, that's all I care about.
No, it actually uses the model from Sonic Generations for that Sonic, and even the classic Sonic, the little chubby Sonic, they use that. So, and they meet the Sonic for Sonic Boom. No, I'm just kidding. They don't do that.
Giving up all hope for humanity.
Yeah, no.
So they haven't completely given up on 3D Sonic yet.
No, that's the thing. It's like, hey guys, we have this right here, but guess what we also have?
You didn't think we were done with this guy yet, did ya?
Right?
But here, we need some money, so here's this one also.
Yeah.
Give us your money. Now.
Yeah, so I don't know. I have a feeling that the Sonic Mania is going to be one of those like $14.99 games or whatnot, but like this Project Sonic is probably going to be a full-fledged AAA title.
Which I will not be buying, probably.
Probably. I don't know.
Probably. Yes, Sonic Mania looks good. So we'll see. We'll see where this leads us in the future. Maybe we'll get the Vector Man sequel that everybody's been hoping for. Or new Echo the Dolphin.
I think Echo the Dolphin actually did get like a more recent update. I mean, quote unquote recent, because I think it was only PlayStation 2, maybe. A
gritty update, a gritty Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah,
the darker storyline, more character breakdowns.
In this game, Echo gets to kill human players.
Echo's out for revenge.
And it's a first person game.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and then the twist at the end is that you're not actually Echo, you're a shark.
Oh, didn't see that coming.
Nope. Clever, huh?
So, how do you all feel about this retro resurgence? 2 seems to be the charm, so I have a feeling we're going to be seeing more of this like I said, though, I think, you know what? DuckTales is an excellent example of what I would like to see.
There you go.
DuckTales remastered. I want more of that.
Yeah.
But anyways, this is a good starting point. But yeah, more DuckTales remastered. Let me know if you think I'm right, or if he's right, or if everybody else is right. You can keep this conversation going on the Twitters. You can reach us at CrossPlat Show. We always like to talk to people. It's fine. It's fun. It's awesome. If Facebook is more your deal, you can also find us on facebook.com/crossplatformshow. And if you got any other questions, things you'd like us to read on the air, any comments for the show, you want to lash out at Maverick for his opinions on his DC fandom, you can reach us at crossplatformshow@gmail.com. If you're looking for this podcast, thanks for listening. Please subscribe to us. We're on SoundCloud, we're on iTunes, we're on the Google Play thing. What's the other one? You know the one they use all the time. That's the one we're on.
Clearly. We are experts.
So subscribe to our show. So yeah, and if you're looking for any back catalog of our podcast episodes, all of those are saved on our YouTube channel. Just look for Gaming Tangents Podcast and scroll down kind of far, because we're not that popular right now. We're trying. Please subscribe. And also, if you're on SoundCloud, you can leave comments directly on the podcast itself, which I thought was pretty interesting at different points in the timestamp. I didn't know you could do that. That's kind of awesome.
Oh yeah, you can do that. I'm pretty sure the porn bots will say quite a bit.
Oh, just try this new pill for only $2.99. Anyways, so that's gonna do it for this week of the Gaming Tangents Podcast. Yeah, I don't have much else to say.
Live long and prosper.
Yes. May the Schwartz be with you.
There you go.
I don't know.
Yeah. May the force be with you. May live long and prosper and
jump. Jumpity jump. Platform it up. Keep on cross the streams.
Keep on jumping those platforms.
Cross the streams, everybody.
Cross the streams. Yeah, go watch Ghostbusters.
No.
Would you like to play again? You have selected no.